What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Boleros. Sam here with the Sultan of Sando, Mr. Gablim, and Maui Yap. Ayan, back-to-back episodes. We just recorded yung If You Were the Coach Part 2. So, kung hindi nyo pa napapanood yun, watch the previous episode. We're probably posting this a few days after. We're going to do a quick news recap. Medyo slow news day pa tayo. Wala pa tayong masyadong big UAAP news. But I don't know, who knows? By the time we post this video, Gab, baka may big news na lumabas. But let's do a quick recap of everything that has transpired over the past week or so. Starting with probably, literally, the biggest one. Kai Sotto going down, out for the season with a torn ACL injury. Not only does this hurt Kai Sotto's tremendous season so far in the B-League, but obviously this means we're going to miss his services for our Gilas games in soon, and then also in the Asia Cup. So, Gab, how heartbroken were you nung nalaman mo na ACL injury si Kai Sotto?
Really, really sad. He was a beast against New Zealand, and I thought that he was already peaking. And Maui got me even more hyped. Sabi nga ni Maui, diba? The NBA window is still open. Sabi ko, if he continues to play like this, I think you can find a spot for him somewhere. If a guy like Zach Edey, who's a traditional big, is playing rotation minutes, I think you can find some minutes for Kai Sotto. You can find a spot for Kai Sotto. But, sakit. I kind of watched it because I don't like watching players get injured because main fear ko rin as someone who still plays regularly is ma-injure. Still, you're pretty active. So, yeah, I played the video, but yung pinikit kong mata ko because I don't like seeing those kind of injuries. It's gruesome for me. Masakit. Yung masakit yung panoorin. The pain, I'm sure, was excruciating. But he was having a great season in the B League. Was having a great season, a great few games with Gilas. You know, by all intensive purposes, the baton had been passed from Junmar to Kai Sotto already.
Career year.
Yeah? So, ito na eh. Sobrang nagdo-dominate na siya in Asia. in the Philippines. The triangle, the system run by Coach Tim Cone, a lot of it goes through Kai Sotto. So, it was definitely his year upcoming. And this is just so sad. Ako, man, butik na yung maiyak for him. Because you don't want to. Now, ACL injuries are not the end of the world. Many people have recovered and have gone back to even better form after ACL reconstruction. I mean, the medicine has become so advanced that, unlike in the past, ACL injuries are not as devastating. Si Maui is proof of that. Although hindi na naglalaro ng basketball si Maui. Pero si Maui na reconstruct yung kanyang ACL. But it's not the end of the end of Kai's career. I do think by next year he'll be back to playing to top form. But this just hurts for Gilas' chances, especially in performing for the Asia Cup and in the upcoming FIBA windows, maybe for the World Cup or for the Olympics. Sakit. Now our front line was already thin as it is. It's going to be even thinner now, and I think we're going to talk about the replacement that they chose and what Coach Tim Cone is probably going to do for the next yung Gilas windows or the next tournaments for Gilas. But this hurts. He was having such a good year already. Maui.
Actually, maganda na topic natin to ngayon because the FIBA window is coming up in February. But in terms of the Kai Sotto injury, very heartbreaking, diba? As a fan, as somebody who has been following Kai Sotto.
As a Filipino din.
as a Filipino, kasi di ba, a lot of hopes and dreams of Filipinos are with Kai Sotto and him making it to the NBA and showing the world that we belong. We've been waiting for that leap, di ba, for the past few seasons. Ang daming hype and all na did not pan out. Ang daming YouTube channels no umasenso because of all the hype and stuff. But this finally like, di ba? Ang daming ano. Totoo naman ang daming umasenso. Just talking about Kai Sotto, di ba? I never thought that this is him showing that he's mortal. Diba? Getting injuries is never a good thing, especially an ACL injury. We know that medicine has advanced, but getting an ACL injury is scary. AJ Edu is actually the perfect guy for Kai Sotto to talk to. Diba? Kasi kahit papano si AJ Edu, despite multiple ACL injuries, has been able to hurdle and still play at a high level kahit papano. But it's disheartening because we're finally seeing the peak. Diba? Nagkakatotoo na yung mga hype. Kai Sotto is finally performing. As Gab mentioned, he's finally dominating Asia. And the timing sucks. Diba? It has sucked for Kai Sotto all these years. Diba? The pandemic stunted his growth. Certain decisions stunted his growth.
Good
and
point.
now
When
he's finally breaking out, when I think this is actually the prime time for him this is probably the time that he should have entered the NBA draft. Kasi kahit paano is showing di ba, in international competition that he has the potential to be something special. The timing of this sucks, di ba? Kasi it's finally the time that everyone is paying attention and he's finally delivering the goods. Di ba? Kasi it's why we always say that people should go pro early in their careers, di ba? Kasi devastating injuries like this can happen anytime, diba? Kai Sotto will have a long road to recovery. Maybe the next year will be focusing on rehab mostly and getting stronger, diba? Hopefully it doesn't recur. Hopefully this is his last big injury within the next decade or so he can reach his full potential. But that's the reality of the situation, diba? Players like AJ Edu have suffered numerous ACL injuries. Players like Derrick Rose have been an NBA MVP at the youngest NBA MVP and yet still is questionable to be a Hall of Famer just because of numerous new injuries. Diba? It's one of the main reasons why players have a short window, why they should maximize every opportunity they get. Diba? It's why we're always saying on this show that players should maximize every opportunity that they get. But masakit kasi ang daming affected diba? It's not like a player from Ateneo getting injured or a player from UP getting injured, diba? It's a national team player who we're all rooting for. Diba? I think despite all the criticisms, despite all everything that's been said about Kai Sotto, whether good, whether OA, exag, whether bad, from the start, we've all been rooting for Kai to thrive, di ba? Kasi it's been the barometer. He's been the cornerstone of Philippine basketball probably for the past 5 seasons. And I wish him all the best. Hopefully, he comes back stronger. Gab is right. There have been players who've come out stronger after these types of injuries. Masakit lang sa Gilas Pilipinas kasi they're on the rise, di ba? And the rise of Kai Sotto is not a coincidence with the rise of Gilas. The rise of Gilas is why Kai Sotto is why Gilas is also on the rise, di ba? He was grabe. I'm speechless pa rin kahit it happened a few weeks. Ang ganda ng pinakita niya nung last window. And I was excited to see him during the next window. And I've been tracking how he's been doing sa B-League. Kasi people were saying kaya lang siya magaling before dahil kay Kawamura eh. Diba? But that hasn't been the case. He's been so good also sa B-League. Diba? Sayang.
Maganda yung sinabi mo because like if you think about it, Kai Sotto is probably really the future of Gilas. He's probably the best young player of this Gilas team, and it ang ganda lang na he's on the rise because now you can clearly see this is the guy who's going to lead the next generation of Gilas guys. Like guys coming in. I mean, Carl Tamayo, KQ are very, very good. Mason Amos is there also. But they haven't succeeded as well or as consistently as Kai, at least in Gilas and internationally, diba? But
They're not
we'll
even
talk
playing
about
as much.
yeah, they're not even playing as much. But we'll talk about Carl Tamayo later on. But that's what sucks, 'di ba? And yun yung mas masakit kasi eto na nakita mo na, and we're not banking on the potential We've seen actual results. Us actually dominating big teams that we thought were bigger than us before. Now nagrereklamo na sila. The Philippines is so big now. Ganun na yung mga comments nila ngayon, 'di ba? So
kahit yung floor Sam 'di ba ni Kai Sotto right now. You talk about ceiling and floor. Grabe yung floor, 'di ba? As Gab mentioned, he dominated against New Zealand.
yeah, exactly. So yun yung masakit. Ngayon, moving on, no, related to this, Gab mentioned it. Coach Tim Cone announced one of the Gilas call-ups, one of the guys that will be joining the team probably as a replacement to Kai Sotto. One of his Ginebra players, Troy Rosario. So not a big surprise. He needed a big man. So Troy Rosario is 6'7", so relatively big guy. And a Ginebra player, though a few months in pa lang siya. But we know how Coach Tim Cone likes to recruit guys he's familiar with, guys that are familiar with his system, his triangle offense. So just want to get your insights first on that call-up, getting Troy Rosario to join Gilas. Let's start with you first, Maui.
I think no-brainer choice si Troy Rosario right now to be that guy to fill in that position. Not just because we talked about this off-air, di ba? Not just because he's from Ginebra. I think it's also because he's been a mainstay of Gilas, di ba? Since for the past decade or so also, di ba?
Yeah.
May experience din ang Troy Rosario sa international game, and if you look at Troy Rosario and you look at a player like Carl Tamayo, he's actually very good comparison to him early on, di ba? Si Troy Rosario was a guy everyone thought could potentially play abroad, and there's a reason why there have been a lot of rumors both from the KBL and the B League before he came to Ginebra. Diba? Maybe he was considering also playing abroad. This is a guy that has a ton of Gilas exposure, and I guess it really helps that he has been training with Ginebra. But I think yung expectations kay Troy Rosario right now is not as high as it was before. I expect probably AJ Edu and Carl Tamayo to pick up the slack from losing a guy like Kai Sotto. Kawawa si Japet kasi si Japet will still be in the pool, di ba? We've been saying this, di ba? Si Japet has said that he has wanted to retire from Gilas. Last minute replacement lang siya the previous window. I think si Rosario is just a band-aid solution for now. He's already 32 years old at the moment, so I don't know if he fits in the plans of the future of Gilas, diba? I would rather them give Carl Tamayo more run right now than Troy Rosario. But it will all be about balancing, diba? We still need to win to get to higher tier tournaments. But I'm praying, hoping that si AJ Edu will finally be able to suit up again sa Gilas, because nawala natin yung main strength natin the past windows, which is that height, di ba? It's not optimal to expect Junmar to play 35 minutes, 30 minutes, and Aguilar to Japet to play 20 to 25 minutes again. Di ba? These guys are already in their late 30s. Di ba? It's crazy that we expect them to still put in this type of work and still play pro, diba, in the PBA. So I guess si Troy Rosario is that band-aid solution for now. Maybe we'll talk about another potential solution in our next segment later.
From Coach Tim Cone's perspective, gets ko kung bakit si Troy. Sabi nga ni Sammy, ang ni Maui, he's from Ginebra. He knows how to play under Coach Tim Cone. He knows the system. You barely have to integrate him. He's been playing with Ginebra this conference already. So, again, it's easier for Coach Tim Cone. He's been with Gilas. One strength of Troy Rosario, he can provide some shooting. He does shoot the ball from the outside. Sort of a Ranel de Ocampo yung 2.0. Diba? He does provide some length. On the downside for me, he's 30. Wow, what is he? 32, 33 years old, diba? So he's getting up there in age already. I get it. He's familiar with the system. It's easier to integrate a guy like Troy, but I would have wanted someone bigger to get that last spot in the pool. Because we already saw Gilas without Kai Sotto. Just look back at the Olympic qualifiers in Riga, Latvia. They played Junmar to the ground. Of course, if AJ Edo is healthy, he would definitely get spells Junmar some minutes. But AJ Edo, parang he's just like, I'm trying to think of an NBA player who's always injured. He's just like Embiid. Like
Jared Vanderbilt.
Wag naman Jared Vanderbilt. Yung role player naman yun. Joel Embiid naman para, yung medyo star quality.
Sige.
Kaya nababas yung mga YouTubers eh. Si Kai Sotto kino-compare kay Chet at kay Wemby. Ngayon ikaw, AJ Edo.
Joel Embiid eh.
Yeah, Joel Embiid, he's always injured. Whenever you need him to play, he's always injured. AJ Edo is just like that. Whenever you need him to play, he's always injured. So, he's obviously the no-brainer gonna replace Kai Sotto in the rotation. But his availability is in question. So, I guess, like as Maui said, it's gonna be ride or die again with Junmar Fajardo and Japet Aguilar, which is kawawa naman sila. They are really old players. And we saw Junmar get winded in the Olympic qualifiers. Remember, Coach Tim Cone was not subbing him out. He was dead tired by the time the fourth quarter came. We can't do that to Junmar. Since AJ Edu's availability is in question, I would have wanted them to get a center. Troy Rosario, 6'7", he can play center, but we're gonna be pretty small compared to other teams. So I would have wanted someone taller. If QMB, if his papers are really fixed, as he was saying, then he should have been there. I'm thinking of other big guys. Gio Chu, despite he's not the best option, but he's a guy who has experience in Gilas. Maybe you could have gotten him in there. I don't know. It's gonna be tough. But Junmar has delivered multiple times. I still think he has a lot to offer, but we cannot play him 30 plus minutes each game. He as much as in the past he has games where he hasn't subbed out. He was in his 20s, in his early 30s. Junmar can't do it anymore for 30 plus minutes. I'm sure he'll prove me wrong and still do it. He's still pretty good despite being old, but for his sake, for his career's sake, he can't do that. So very thin ang front court natin. AJ Edu, again, questionable availability. Japeth, I don't think he even wants to play big minutes. I mean, he's wanted to retire already from Gilas. We still keep on bringing him back, and salute to him. He still keeps on coming back. But
baka si Troy Rosario in next Junmar. Abot din siya 40s.
Oh my goodness. So wag naman sana. But yeah, if Junmar gets into foul trouble and AJ Edu is not available, Gilas is going to be in trouble in future games, especially kung mataas ang level of competition if they go up against New Zealand again, Australia, Japan, South Korea. They're gonna be in big trouble if Junmar is not there. AJ Edu, from what I've seen, he's not really a post-up player, like the guy you give to in the triangle offense to run the offense through. He hasn't shown me that he's that guy. He's more of a rim roller, outside shooter type of guy. I'm not sure if he can fill the role that Kai Sotto was doing. Maybe we'll see more of Justin Brownlee yung fill that role along with Junmar. So I'm not sure. I'm sure Coach Timcon will find some way to integrate all this. But the front court is definitely a concern because we're old and now we're much thinner.
Yeah, just to add, no, I remember, if I'm not mistaken, Junmar also suffered an ACL injury halfway through his career, like maybe like 6,
Foot.
8 years ago.
I
Oh,
think
foot injury ba yun? Oh,
Broken
basta
foot.
he had like a grave injury. He was out for like a year. So maybe something that Kai should also consult Junmar about, diba? Talk to Junmar how he got back, how he was able to bounce back. I think that was like a long time ago, mga 7, 8 years ago. So may chance pa naman for Kai. He's still young. Sabi nga ni Gab, the technology has advanced these days. So hoping for the best for Kai. Yung replacement, I think no-brainer for Coach Timcon, si Troy Rosario. I do like the other suggestions. Maybe we can talk about other, possibly expanding the draft later on, but I do want to jump on another guy.
The pool,
Ah,
not the draft.
Expanding the pool later on. I do want to talk about another guy, a teammate of Kai Sotto in Gilas who also got injured recently. Former current UAAP MVP, Kevin Quiambao, who will also potentially miss the FIBA window this Feb. Wala pa tayong definitive news on when he will return, but Maui, what are your thoughts on like first KQ's debut and parang any updates ba on that injury? Alam ko ikaw yung medyo updated din doon.
Yeah, I think right now yung update is from a Korean insider in X Twitter. They say that KQ is already out of the walking boot and expected to play late January. But hirap kasi this guy just came from a very bad ankle sprain, di ba? I don't know if we expect him to play. He has to first fulfill his obligations dun sa team niya. Remember, KQ is starting to build up his professional career only right now, di ba? We were only able to see a glimpse during the first game. I think he only played 6 minutes, scored 6 points. But this is why we want Coach Tim to potentially expand the pool, di ba? Kasi we're even talking about the younger guys. We are not even talking about Japet. We're not even talking about Brownlee. We're not talking about Junmar or the likes of Thompson. We're talking about the young guys right now suffering injuries. Diba? AJ Edu has always been a question mark for Gilas. It's one of the main reasons why they have to have a bigger pool. I think that's why they should expand the pool to more names. Diba? They should have probably, it's why Team USA has a cadets pool, diba? So that when they have big injuries, so that when they have last minute players who are not able to join the team, they can get from that pool. So that they have guys that they're starting to train already to get integrated into the system, diba? Coach Tim is not running a very simple system. We're talking about the triangle offense. Pro players have said in the past that it takes them years to fully understand the system. Diba? So I want to see more players in the pool. We're talking about Gilas right now, and I think one of our topics is gonna be talking about other players who might be or should be in the pool. But very unfortunate news for Gilas Pilipinas, diba? Kevin Quiambao is somebody that they're starting to integrate also into the team. And now after that Kai Sotto injury, hopefully we don't get other players injured. Knock on wood, sila Dwight Ramos continue to be healthy. Even si Brownlee continue to be healthy. God forbid Junmar gets injured, diba? I mean, what are we going to do? We don't have other bigs. We can expect Japet to play 35 minutes. during this in his age right now, 'di ba? So it's about really it's frustrating, but at the same time it shows that these players are mere mortals, humans. They also get hurt, 'di ba? I think it doesn't it's one of the main reasons why I think these two guys are injured. It's also because of yung load nila, 'di ba? Remember, these two guys have been playing all year round, technically not having any off season, 'di ba? It's why Junmar is probably a unicorn. Kasi kahit papaano the past decade or maybe 15 years, Junmar hasn't had an off season, 'di ba? Players like Kai Sotto and Quiambao, who are generally healthy players, are now getting injured because of also the load that they've been playing the past year or so, 'di ba? We saw Kai Sotto forced himself to play nung FIBA World Cup with a back injury. 'Di ba? Now we see these guys. Si Kevin Tiaba, I don't even remember the last time I heard he was injured or missed a game, 'di ba? So it's concerning, and it's one of the main reasons why I think they should really increase the number of players in the pool.
Gab, anything to add before we move on?
What was the question again, Sam? Or was there a question?
Wala, ano lang. Your reaction to the KQ injury, how that affects the Gilas pool, and yung kung meron kang napanood mo ba yung debut niya?
Yeah, I did. I did watch KQ's debut. I thought he's perfect for the KBL. All the threes he's been shooting the past couple of seasons, he's perfect for international basketball, for Korean basketball. Koreans love to shoot threes. He loves to shoot threes. And I'm so happy that he got to shoot his threes in his first game. Now it was cut short. I don't think there's any long-term concern for his injury. He'll definitely recover from it. As to its impact on Gilas, he was barely playing anyway. So I think you could find someone else to take up those minutes. He was playing behind Dwight Ramos, Calvin Oftana, and Justin Brownlee. So yeah, he was barely cracking the rotation anyway. So I don't see any major impact to Gilas. Si Kai Sotto is definitely the biggest impact, his injury. For KQ, I do hope to see him play again, and I think we will. I mean, I don't think it's a devastating injury by any means, but I'm happy that he got his threes up there. Sabi ko, uy, bagay na bagay siya dito sa KBL.
Pwede.
Pwede siya.
Okay. Speaking of shooting a ton of threes, let's talk about the good news naman. The past few weeks has been crazy kasi we had guys like score career highs. Local players playing internationally score career highs. It started out with SJ Belangel, I think, scoring 36 points, and then that was followed up by Carl Tamayo with 37 points, and then Migs Oxon also scoring a career high 31 points in their respective international teams. My question for you guys, the biggest surprise dun sa career highs, or the most exciting for you? Let's start with you, Gab.
I'm gonna be a homer, but SJ Belangel was the most exciting one for me. We had SJ on this episode, on this podcast.
May bias kasi nagpa-interview kaya yun yung pinili
saka Atanisa siya, so sa'yo pipiliin ko. But I did watch the highlights of SJ, and it's awesome. One, he looks so much like a Korean already. The hair, the smooth skin.
He shared his skincare routine with us, diba? Like, kunento niya yun.
Watch that episode and take tips from SJ for your skincare routine based on his experience in South Korea. But yeah, this is the reason why I think one of our comments in the recent iterations of Gilas is, where are the point guards? Because currently there are none. None of the guards are actual point guards. Scotty is the closest thing, but he plays off guard. He's not a point guard for the purest point guard, and he's not a terrific shooter. You take a look at SJ, and he's been in Gilas before, and you can see why I think, or at least we think, that he's definitely someone to consider for Gilas or for the pool. Because what, international experience is there, shooting is there. Uh, we talk about international basketball and how shooting is a prime skill that you need on your team. SJ provides that. Now, to people who say he's small, like similar to what they did to JD Cagulangan, who we'll talk about maybe later, who also made his KBL debut. Yes, size matters in basketball, but it's not the be all and the end all. You can flourish as a small guard in the international basketball scene. We've seen it. Yuki Kawamura yung got a contract just by being just by playing and dominating for Japan in the Olympics. So I don't foresee the size thing is gonna be all too much trouble. The Philippines has a ton of guards and point guards. I do think we need to include more in the pool.
Kahit sa Hinebra. Si RJA.
Kahit sa si RJ. We have a ton of options. I do think, as Maui said when we were talking about KQ, we do need to expand the pool. And SJ is one of the options. I love watching him just heat check after heat check, just launching up those threes. Incredible. This is why he's lasted this long in the KBL. I think he's the longest tenured one. Dave couldn't even crack it. Diba? Yung Dave Ildefonso. SJ's been there, what, three seasons? Going into his fourth, I think, for next year. It's because he's evolved his game. He's integrated more shooting. Become an excellent outside shooter. One other thing, remember what he told us in our interview with him? They brought someone in as a point guard to compete with him. And he's still their main option at point guard, despite signing another player. So he just keeps on excelling. I'm really happy to see that he's lasted this long with the same team. So obviously he's valued there, and I hope to see him play for the country again. I do think he's definitely someone to consider.
Sorry, Maui. Before we move on to you, nakalimutan ko si JD. Buti pinaalala mo, Gab. Those are the 4 performances, no? The 3 guys with their career highs, and obviously JD with an impressive debut. Maybe didn't score 30 plus points, but also an impressive debut. Which was the most surprising performance for you, Maui?
Si Gab, babatukan ako pag sabihin ko JD Cagulangan kasi expectations niya since season 85 was that JD is capable. And I agree, di ba? I agree naman in previous seasons that he's been the best point guard. The fact that a player like Belangel can thrive, I think si Cagulangan could also. But si Cagulangan is just starting. The player that really stood out for me from all of them has to be Carl Tamayo. Diba? Scoring back-to-back 30-point games is not easy. Even in the PBA, kahit naman PBA players, top scorers natin don't score 30 easily, diba? 10-minute quarters and back-to-back games of 30 points, that's very hard, diba? I think he's showing the KBL, the B-League, that he's gonna be back eventually, I think, after this string of performances in the KBL. He's showing that he's too good to be in the KBL. I think he could easily score 20 a game based on his performances the past few games. I love where he gets his points. He's getting them from everywhere, from the 3-point line, from driving, from posting up, off passes.
Very efficient.
From the system. Basically, scoring from all 3 levels, diba? And doing it in efficiently. Sayang kasi we talked about Kai Sotto kanina, diba? Si Tamayo is also picking out right now, diba? I think one of the games he broke out also nung Hong Kong game kasi he was given a ton of minutes. But I expect Tamayo to surprise us again in the next coming windows, especially with Kai Sotto gone. He's finally breaking out We haven't seen a lot of him kasi outside of Gilas, di ba? When he played in Japan, he was mostly a bench warmer. I think this is why he wanted to get out of that contract and get to the KBL kasi he wants to show that he belongs. Di ba? And grabe. Carl Tamayo was a beast in the UAAP. If you saw him now, I can't believe how good he is. Yung handles has really improved. I still believe that he can transition to that small forward slot, which is where he has the biggest ceiling. I think yung defensive end will be the biggest test. Offensively, I think he's starting to really show that he's a versatile scorer, di ba? He's a versatile wing player.
Sa defense siya yung nasisigawan ni Coach Tim eh. So, talagang
defense. So maybe you should go to KQ's trainer, di ba? And get that lateral quickness, di ba? Run and trim down and but I've loved what I've seen with Carl Tamayo. There's a reason why Coach Tim is saying that he's gonna be the future superstar of Gilas. Diba? I think he's a very low maintenance guy. Parang walang yabang, walang arte, and he just comes to play. I think that's why he has been and continues to be one of the fan favorites when you talk about the UP Fighting Maroons. Diba? During this decade or so. I love how he has developed and I expect him to be a mainstay in Gilas, diba? Kung si Troy Rosario in-expect ng tao maglaro hanggang 40, I hope si Carl Tamayo will be there until he's 35 to 38, diba? I think this guy has a lot to offer. And ang ganda na improvement, diba? This is a guy who played big man in high school, diba? So it's crazy to see this type of development. We always talk about KQ. We should also talk about Tamayo's development is and how he's thriving abroad.
If there was any argument for keeping FSAs in the UAAP, just look at Carl Tamayo. We wouldn't be getting Carl Tamayo if we didn't have FSAs in the UAAP. Diba?
He would be playing big man, diba?
He would be
Big man pa
a
yung
center.
laro niya. Yeah.
So, the offense has never been a question for me in terms of Carl Tamayo. He's always been pretty impressive. I called him the best player in the UAAP. He's in season 85. I watched him just dominate fourth quarters time and time again. So the offense, not surprised that he can put up 30 points. Defensively, gaya na sabi ko, that's something he has to work on. We saw it in their last window. Got 4 fouls, and each of those 4 fouls, he got an earful from Coach Tim Cone. So I think defense is where he really has to polish his game more. But if there's one thing that this whole segment has taught me, guys, is that don't underestimate opportunity to play. If you're a UAAP or an NCAA player, when you have an opportunity to play, that is very, very important. And cashing in early, di ba? Carl Tamayo cashed in early, SJ Belangin cashed in early. JD, yung medyo late, yung finished out his 6 seasons in the UAAP, but he eventually got there. But the opportunity to play, man, I get it that we have some guys who want to stick it out for 5 seasons or more, but you have to get an opportunity. If you know that you're good enough and you get an opportunity to play, you have to take that opportunity because you can end up like itong sina JD, sina SJ, we're thriving and making bank in the KBL in these foreign leagues. So don't underestimate the opportunity to get minutes and to play. It's something that you can't you can't trade for. If you get 25 to 30 minutes in the UAP, you shine, you continue to put up numbers, you could get a contract and you secure your future. Heck, si Nick Caballero on a 1-13 team was getting offers. You don't have to win if you wanna. Of course, if you can win while showing your skills, why not? But the fact that Nick Caballero was in rumors to get contracts abroad, despite being on a team that lost majority of its games, means opportunity and minutes is really, really valuable.
Tsaka I just want to say, dun sa mga nagsasabi that they should prioritize education, they should finish out their college career, just look at KQ. Diba si KQ is trying to find a way to still prioritize yung studies niya despite being in Korea, diba? There are ways to still do that, diba? You can be a pro basketball player and still continue to finish your education para may fallback ka, diba? Kasi I think that's one of the main reasons. But the window in basketball is very slim, so when you get that opportunity, I would say you should grab the bag, especially if you're going into a situation where you're going to get a ton of opportunity, a ton of minutes to shine.
Speaking of opportunity to play, perfect example dun si JD, diba? He wasn't getting minutes in Lasal. So that move to UP was the perfect move for him. To answer that question dun sa biggest surprise, I think you can choose any of them actually. So I love the SJ and the Carl Tamayo pick. I would personally, I'd pick JD just because he's fresh out of college. He just came from UP. Imagine mo the language barrier, not knowing a lot of people in that team, playing a very vital role like a point guard. Very
he looks like a
difficult for
Korean
JD.
anyway. I think
He looks like a Korean. Natural na yun. Pati si Carl Tamayo.
Yung buhok din niya eh. So,
Yeah.
I think na-integrate siya perfectly.
Na-integrate na yun eh. Oo, okay. Pwede na to. Pasado na to. Baka mahilig siya sa K-pop.
Opa na siya eh. So, he didn't
Opa
have
na.
to-
Oh, that's
to
true.
get a makeover and everything. Yung
Shout
opa
out
na
also
siya.
to Mix. Shout out also to Mix Oxon. Probably not getting as much eyeballs as the other UAAP stars since he played for the NCAA. But another NU product, talking about like NU guys like Carl Tamayo and KQ. Another NU products thriving in juniors player, thriving in abroad in the KBL. So all guys are very impressive. Siguro just to end this episode before we go, kung sabihan kayo ni Coach Tim Cone, okay, Maui, okay, Gab, you can pick one player na i-add ko sa pool. Who would that be? Automatic yes, i-add niya. Sino i-add mo? I-recommend mo kay Coach Tim Cone.
QMB,
Gab,
bro.
QMB. Yep.
If he's eligible and he says
If he's eligible.
he is, QMB, we need to get bigger.
We need the big.
We need to prepare for life after Japet and Junmar. That's the reality of it. We need to prepare after Japet and Junmar. They're so old. Yes, Junmar is still pretty good, but we've seen it. He gets tired. He's not 20 anymore. He's not early 30s. There's a lot of miles on Junmar's legs. We have to prepare for life after Junmar. And if QMB is eligible, big if.
That's a big if. That's a big if.
If he's eligible, he should be in the pool. We need to get bigger.
I agree.
Mike Phillips is still a long ways from getting eligibility, I think. I mean, Chris Newsom had to wait for a lot of years before he got his eligibility. So si Mike Phillips maybe has to wait. But for right now, we need bigs. We need to get bigger.
Okay. And complementary kasi si QMB kay Kai Sotto eh, diba? Like even with AJ Edu, that three-headed big lineup, that would be good. That would be perfect.
And he can play
sige,
make from the post. We've seen it in UP.
which
He
is
can play
what
make
Coach
from
Tim
the post.
Cone likes, diba? Which is what Coach Tim Cone likes. O sige, Gab, na recruit na ni Coach Tim Cone si QMB Maui. Anyone you wanna add?
Actually, very good pick si QMB, di ba? Kasi he's a guy who has played in numerous programs. So very adaptable yung game ni QMB. But if you were to ask me, I've been saying this probably the past few years. I think nadamay rin kasi siya dun sa Chot Reyes drama and all. I think si Terdy Ravena should deserve consideration, di ba? He's the best Asian import for the B-League, di ba? What's the league that most Filipinos aspire for to go to? Di ba? It's the B-League. And he was the best Asian import, di ba? And
That's true.
remember, there was a window that both him and when Dwight Ramos was starting out sa Gilas, both of them were thriving. Diba? I think he was just misused maybe Coach Trot Reyes nung dulo. I thought that he was at his best nung si Coach Tab yung coach. Although I'm not sure if he's the right fit kasi you need shooters when you're playing the triangle, diba? So maybe, but if you can play a Scottie Thompson, why can't you play a Thirdy Ravenna, diba? You need a slashing guard. You need slashing guards also, diba? For when you play the triangle, diba? And Thirdy has proven based on his percentages in the B League that he has that outside shot naman, diba? If you look at naman yung numbers na ni Dwight Ramos, hindi nagkakalayo ang 3-point percent nila. But I think he's a guy that deserves consideration, both him and Kiefer. Diba? Si Kiefer showed nung FIBA World din that he belongs. But I think these two players, based on also all of their accolades and based on their history playing abroad, put it together with their experience playing Gilas. Sayang that we're not using them when they're in their 20s. Diba? Ano to? I-call up natin sila pag kailan 35 na ba sila? 34? I think they deserve consideration. They have played in numerous teams. They have played with numerous coaches. I think that they have that ability to adapt.
Okay, since you guys picked QMB and 3D, I'm going with SJ Belangel. The guy who hit the game winner for us against Korea, has a ton of Gilas experience, international experience. Let's add another guard, a guard that can be reliable from the 3-point line. So that's another guy that I would add. To the listeners out there, comment down below. Sino yung add nyo sa Gilas team? One guy that you can add that you wanna see in Gilas. We'll talk about more news as they come. Sana meron tayong updates. We'll see you again next time.
Navs! Baka naman Navs!
Mga pasabog jam Navs. Medyo pahingi naman ng onte. We'll see you again next time. Don't forget, like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends. Bye-bye.